I stood in the middle of our empty living room, the echo of my footsteps bouncing off bare walls that once held our wedding photos, our dreams, our future. The house sale would close in 2 hours. 2 years ago, Jessica and I walked through this door for the first time, holding hands, imagining where the Christmas tree would go, planning which room would be the nursery. Now I was leaving alone, and somehow I felt lighter than I had in months. All it took was one conversation 3 months ago to burn everything down. One request that showed me exactly who I thought I was marrying versus who she actually was. Before I tell you how a single conversation destroyed everything I thought I knew about love, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe, because what happened next taught me the hardest lesson about self-respect I have ever learned. My name is Chandler. I am 30 years old, a software engineer living in Austin, Texas, or at least I was until recently. 4 years ago, I met Jessica at a charity event downtown. She was a marketing manager standing near the silent auction table, laughing at something her friend said. Her smile caught me first. Not the polite smile you give strangers, but the genuine kind that reaches your eyes. We started talking about a photography package being auctioned off, and 3 hours later, we were still standing in that same spot, the event winding down around us. Our relationship grew the way good things should. Steady, natural. We both loved hiking the Barton Creek Greenbelt on Sunday mornings, coming home to cook breakfast together. We watched independent films at the Alamo Drafthouse, debating the endings over beers afterward. She introduced me to her love of farmers markets. I taught her how to make my grandmother's marinara sauce from scratch. A year into dating, I took her to Colorado for a long weekend. We hiked to a lake surrounded by aspen trees, their leaves bright gold against the blue sky. I got down on one knee, right there on the trail. She cried and said yes before I even finished asking. 8 months before our planned October wedding, we bought a house together. A 2-story craftsman in the suburbs, with a small backyard and a front porch, where we pictured drinking coffee on lazy Saturday mornings. We spent weekends painting the guest bedroom a soft gray, planting tomatoes and basil in the garden beds. Jessica loved hosting, so we had friends over for dinner parties where she made her famous mushroom risotto. Life felt complete. I thought I had found my person, the one I would build everything with. Every milestone we hit felt like proof that we were doing it right. The wedding planning came together smoothly. We booked a venue at a winery outside the city. Jessica picked out her dress, a simple A-line with lace sleeves that made her look like something out of a storybook. We argued about whether to do a DJ or a band, finally settling on a band because her dad loved live music. My mom helped us create the guest list. Her mom offered to pay for the flowers. Everything was falling into place exactly as it should. I remember thinking during one of our cake tasting appointments that I was the luckiest man alive. I had no idea how fast that feeling could evaporate. 4 months before the wedding in early June, something shifted. Jessica started coming home from work later. When I asked about her day, her answers got shorter. Distracted. She spent more time on her phone, scrolling through messages with a slight smile, then quickly locking the screen when I walked into the room. At first, I told myself she was stressed. Planning a wedding while working full-time is not easy. Maybe her boss was piling on extra projects. Maybe she was coordinating with vendors and did not want to bother me with details. But the distance grew wider. We used to watch Netflix together every night, her head on my shoulder, my arm around her waist. Suddenly, she started going upstairs to bed early, claiming she was exhausted. Our weekend hikes stopped. When I suggested we hit the trail, she said she needed alone time to recharge. I tried not to take it personally. Everyone needs space sometimes. I made her favorite pasta one evening, the recipe that always made her hum with happiness when she took the first bite. She ate 3 forkfuls, said she was full, and scraped the rest into the trash. Our physical intimacy disappeared too. We went from making love several times a week to once every 2 weeks, then not at all. When I tried to initiate, she would kiss me quickly and say she had a headache or was too tired. I started wondering if something was wrong with me. Had I gained weight? Was I not attractive to her anymore? I tried working out more, wearing the cologne she used to say she loved. Nothing changed. She still felt 1,000 miles away, even when she was lying right next to me. I kept telling myself this was temporary, Wedding stress, work pressure, a phase that would pass once we got through the ceremony and settled into married life. I was wrong. 2 weeks into this new normal, I noticed a name appearing repeatedly on her phone. Travis. I knew that name. Jessica had told me about Travis during one of our early dates, when we were sharing relationship histories. He was her first serious boyfriend. They dated for 3 years in their early 20s. She described him as her first love, the guy who made her believe in soulmates before he broke her heart by refusing to commit. He took a job in California and ended things saying he was not ready for forever. She cried for months. That was 6 years ago, ancient history or so, I thought. One evening I asked her directly, "Are you talking to Travis again?" She jumped like I had caught her stealing. Then she took a breath and admitted it. Yes, Travis was back in town. He had reached out through Instagram a few weeks ago just saying hello, asking how she was doing. They exchanged a few messages. Nothing serious. I tried to keep my voice calm. "Why did you not tell me?" She looked at me like I was being unreasonable. "Because I knew you would overreact. We are just old friends catching up. Why are you making this into something it is not?" I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust that she would not do anything to jeopardize what we had built. So I said, "I trust you, but I need you to be honest with me going forward. No more hiding things." She promised she would be more open. She was not. The next 2 weeks were worse. Jessica started going out more, claiming she was meeting friends from work. She would come home smelling like wine. Her lipstick smudged her eyes bright in a way that made my stomach turn. One night she said she was grabbing drinks with Sarah, her co-worker. The next day I called Sarah to ask about a project we were collaborating on at work. During the conversation she mentioned she had been home all night binge-watching a new series. My blood went cold. I asked Jessica where she had really been. She admitted finally that she had gone out for coffee with Travis and a few mutual friends from their past. "Why did you lie?" I asked, trying not to raise my voice. She got defensive immediately. "Because you are so controlling. You do not trust me. I knew you would make it into this huge thing, so I just avoided the drama." Her words felt like a slap. I was not controlling. I was asking for basic honesty. But somehow she had flipped it around to make me the problem. I did not sleep that night. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe beside me, wondering when the woman I loved had become someone I did not recognize. A week later, I saw an Instagram post. Jessica and Travis checked in at a wine bar across town. The photo showed them sitting close, laughing, his hand hovering near her shoulder. It was just the two of them. No group of mutual friends. Just them. When she came home that night, I was waiting in the living room. I showed her the photo. She exploded. "Are you stalking me now? Are you seriously checking my location? This is insane, Chandler." I kept my voice level. "You lied again. You said you were with a group. This does not look like a group." She started crying, the kind of tears that used to make me want to fix everything. But this time they felt manipulative. "You do not understand anything," she shouted. "Travis and I are different people. You do not know what it is like to have unfinished business with someone." Her words hit me like a truck. Unfinished business. She was comparing me to him. I was her fiancé, the man she agreed to marry, and she was acting like I was an obstacle to her real feelings. I did not say anything. I just walked upstairs and slept in the guest room. For 3 days we barely spoke. We moved around the house like ghosts, avoiding eye contact, eating meals at different times. The tension was suffocating. Then one evening she asked if we could talk. I sat down on the couch, bracing myself. She sat across from me, wringing her hands, unable to meet my eyes. "Chandler, do you ever think we rushed into this?" she asked quietly. I felt my chest tighten. "What are you talking about? We have been together for 4 years. She looked up at me, her eyes red. "But do you ever wonder if we need time to really think about what we are doing?" I knew where this was going, but I needed her to say it. "What are you trying to say, Jessica?" She took a shaky breath. "Travis came back, and he is different now. He told me he regrets leaving me. He said he was stupid and immature, and he knows now what he lost." I felt like I was watching this happen to someone else, like I was floating above my own life, watching it implode, and I asked. She wiped her eyes. And I do not know if I still have feelings for him. I need to find out. The room felt like all the oxygen had been sucked out. Jessica sat there, tears streaming down her face, waiting for me to respond. Finally, she said the words that would end us. I think we should take a break from the engagement. I stared at her. You want to break up so you can… What? Exactly. Date Travis. See if the grass is greener. She shook her head frantically. No, not break up. Just pause. I need closure with Travis. I need to know for sure. If I marry you, and I still have these questions, it would not be fair to you. I almost laughed. Fair to me. She thought putting our engagement on hold so she could explore her ex-boyfriend was the fair option. So I am what exactly? Your backup plan. You want me to wait around while you figure out if you like him better. She was crying harder now. It is not like that I love you, Chandler. But I need this. I need to know what could have been with Travis. Otherwise, I will always wonder. Just give me a month. 1 month to sort out my feelings, and then we can move forward. I sat there in silence, her words echoing in my head. 1 month. She wanted 30 days to see if her first love was better than the life we had built together. 30 days to test drive another relationship while I sat at home wondering if I was good enough. And if she decided Travis was not what she wanted, I was supposed to welcome her back with open arms. Grateful she chose me, after comparing us side by side. That night I did not sleep. I sat in the living room until the sun came up thinking about everything. I thought about the house we bought together, the wedding invitations we had already ordered, the life I thought we were building. But more than that, I thought about what kind of man I wanted to be. Did I want to be the kind of person who waited on the sidelines while someone decided if I was worth choosing? Did I want to marry someone who needed to shop around before committing? By morning, I knew what I had to do. I called Jessica downstairs. She came down in her pajamas, her face puffy from crying, hope flickering in her eyes like maybe I had come around to her way of thinking. I looked at her and felt nothing but clarity. You do not need a month, I said calmly. She looked confused. What do you mean? I took a breath. I am ending this. We are done. Her face went white. Chandler, do not overreact. I just need time to think. I shook my head. When you love someone enough to marry them, you do not need to pause to check your options. The fact that you need a break means you have already made your choice. You just do not want to admit it. She started to panic. No, that is not true. I love you. I am just confused. I walked to the coffee table, took off my engagement ring, and set it down gently. Take your ring back. We are over. Jessica broke down completely. You cannot do this. You love me. We have a wedding planned. We have a house. I met her eyes. I do love you, but I love myself more. I am not going to sit around waiting for you to decide if I am good enough. You want Travis, go be with Travis, but you do not get to keep me as your safety net. She was sobbing, reaching for me, begging me to reconsider. But I had never been more certain of anything in my life. The next morning I called a lawyer. Our house was in both our names, but I had put down 70% of the down payment and paid the majority of the mortgage. The lawyer advised me to buy out Jessica's share or sell. I chose to sell. Staying in that house surrounded by memories of what I thought we were building would have been torture. I contacted a real estate agent that same day. By the end of the week, the house was listed. The Austin market was hot. We had multiple offers within days. I called the wedding venue and canceled. We lost the deposit, $5,000 down the drain, but I did not care. I emailed our families and close friends, keeping it brief. The engagement was off. We had both decided to go our separate ways. My parents called, immediately shocked but supportive. My mom said she had sensed something was wrong the last time we visited. My dad told me he was proud of me for knowing my worth. Jessica's mom called me in tears, apologizing for her daughter's behavior. She said she raised Jessica better than this and that. I deserved so much more. I thanked her and told her I held no ill will. It was not about blame. It was about incompatibility. Jessica moved out within 2 weeks, going to stay with a friend while she looked for her own place. The house felt enormous and empty without her, but it also felt peaceful. The house sold faster than I expected. A young couple, newlyweds, excited to start their life together. I signed the paperwork and walked away with a significant profit. Suddenly, I had money in the bank, and no obligations tying me down. I sat in my temporary apartment, staring at my laptop, and made a decision that surprised even me. I requested a leave of absence from work. My boss, who knew what I had been going through, approved it immediately. I switched to freelance contracts, projects I could do remotely from anywhere in the world. I had always wanted to travel through Europe, backpacking from city to city, with nothing but a bag and an open itinerary. Jessica hated the idea. She liked luxury hotels and planned vacations, not hostels and spontaneity. For 4 years I had put that dream on hold. Not anymore. I deleted Instagram and Facebook, keeping only LinkedIn for work purposes. I did not block Jessica, but I did not respond to her messages either. She texted me constantly those first few weeks. "Chandler, I made a mistake. Can we please talk? I miss you. Travis and I are together now, but it does not feel right." I left every message on read. Friends told me Jessica and Travis made their relationship official 2 weeks after our breakup. I was not surprised. That had been her plan all along, whether she admitted it to herself or not. The break was just her way of avoiding the guilt of cheating. By the time I boarded my flight to Dublin, I had heard they were posting couple photos online, doing all the things she and I used to do. I felt nothing, no jealousy, no anger. Just relief that I had walked away when I did. Ireland was cold and rainy when I landed, but I did not care. I checked into a hostel in Temple Bar, dropped my bag and walked the streets until my feet hurt. For the first month, the pain followed me. I would wake up in the middle of the night in some unfamiliar bed momentarily, forgetting where I was, reaching for Jessica, before remembering she was gone. Those moments hurt the worst, but each day the ache lessened just a little. I met other travelers, people from Australia, Japan, Brazil, all running from something, or running towards something new. We swapped stories over pints of Guinness and plates of fish and chips. I took a train to Scotland, hiked through the Highlands, stood on the edge of cliffs overlooking the North Sea. One morning I woke before dawn and drove to a lake surrounded by mountains. The water was perfectly still, reflecting the sky like a mirror. I stood there alone, breathing in the cold air, and felt something shift inside me. Freedom. For the first time in months, I was not thinking about Jessica or Travis or what I had lost. I was just present, alive, grateful to be exactly where I was. In Switzerland, I met a girl named Emma from New Zealand. We were both staying at the same hostel in Interlaken. She was traveling alone too, recovering from her own breakup. We spent a week hiking together, talking about heartbreak and healing, sharing the kind of honest conversations you can only have with strangers you will probably never see again. She told me her ex had cheated on her with her best friend. I told her about Jessica's need for a break. "You dodged a bullet," Emma said one night over fondue. "Anyone who needs to test other options does not deserve you." Her words stayed with me. I started working remotely, taking on small projects that paid enough to keep me moving. I rented a cheap apartment in Prague for a month, another in Lisbon. I took up yoga, started meditating, read books about psychology and self-worth. I learned that I had built too much of my identity around being Jessica's partner. I had forgotten who I was outside of that relationship. Traveling alone forced me to rediscover myself. I learned I liked my own company. I did not need someone else to feel complete. 6 months into my trip, I decided it was time to go home. Not to Austin. That chapter was closed. I moved to Portland, Oregon, a city I had always been curious about. I rented a small apartment in the Pearl District, found a new job with a tech startup, and started building a life that was entirely mine. No shared furniture, no compromises. Just me figuring out what I wanted. A mutual friend reached out to tell me Jessica and Travis had broken up, 4 months together, and it fell apart. Apparently, the fantasy did not match reality. Travis was still the same commitment-phobic guy he had always been. Jessica realized too late that the grass was not greener. She started messaging me again, this time more desperately. "I made the biggest mistake of my life. I should have never let you go. Can we please try again?" I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me, the part that had loved her deeply, wanted to feel vindicated, wanted to throw her words back in her face. But I did not feel angry anymore. I just felt indifferent. I typed out a response, short and final. I told her about Jessica's need for a break. "You dodged a bullet," Emma said one night over fondue. "Anyone who needs to test other options does not deserve you." Her words stayed with me. I started working remotely, taking on small projects that paid enough to keep me moving. I rented a cheap apartment in Prague for a month, another in Lisbon. I took up yoga, started meditating, read books about psychology and self-worth. I have learned that self-respect is not negotiable. The moment someone asks you to be their backup plan, you have to walk away. Love should not require you to compete. It should not make you question your worth. Sometimes I think about that empty house the day I stood in the living room and realized I was free. I think about Jessica asking for a break, expecting me to wait while she figured out her feelings. I am grateful she showed me who she was before we got married. I am grateful I had the strength to choose myself. People ask if I regret how things ended, if I wish I had fought harder. I tell them no. Walking away was not giving up. It was the bravest thing I have ever done. So if you are watching this, and you are in a situation where someone is asking you to be their second choice, let me tell you something. You deserve to be someone's first and only choice. You deserve someone who does not need to pause and compare you to someone else. The right person will not make you wonder where you stand. They will choose you every single day without hesitation. And if they cannot do that, you owe it to yourself to walk away. Sometimes the best thing you can do is let them go and realize what they lost. And by then, you will have already found something better. Yourself. Have you ever been in a situation where someone asked for a break? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about love loss and finding yourself again. Share this with anyone who needs to hear that choosing yourself is never the wrong decision. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there find the courage to walk away from anything that does not serve them. Take care of yourselves, and remember, you are always enough exactly as you are.